This conference will now be recorded.
This class is being known in 2020. It's part of our continuing professional development series. In the Intro to Branding class, we talked about the need to differentiate yourself from the 2,200 plus brokers in Central Oregon. That if you continue to devote your time and money into copying the same approach that everyone else is using, you'll continue to get what everyone else is getting. And that if you are part of this market of sameness, people will have to differentiate based upon other criteria, in particular price. As much as it is important to differentiate yourself in the real estate market, you also need to be known. You need to be known by putting out valuable content that people need, rely on, and continue to look to you for. Getting known is about gaining acceptance in your niche. But being known also requires an emotional connection we will talk about in a bit. Your brand isn't exactly about you as much as it is how people experience you. When I first started in real estate, getting known was very time-consuming and expensive with newspaper ads, neighborhood postcards going door to door, yard signs, open house signs, and direct mailing. Those were some of the examples we used. People really never knew you, but they knew of you if you spent a lot of money getting your name out there. Today, everyone has changed a lot. Everything has changed in this internet age, and thanks to the internet, you have the opportunity to be known for something and to easily connect with people who you want to do business with, even on an emotional level, for a fraction of the cost and time it took just a couple of decades ago. If you can develop the right niche that you are passionate about and develop the right content that people in your niche need, you will become what many now are calling a community influencer. That over time, people will get to know and trust, and when the time comes, hopefully look to you to help them buy or sell real estate. You may remember the slide from the intro class that agents they like, trust, and respect the most get their business. But to do that, they need to know you. So today we're going to break this down into a discussion about being known into 3 parts. First, finding your place. You must be known for something. What is your unique voice? Finding your space. You must occupy a large enough space to make a difference. And last, finding your fuel. Content is the fuel for building a personal brand today and being known. So let's start with finding your place. Different is better. This quote pretty much summarizes this whole course. The key to success is to be known for something unique. Your niche, if you will. Otherwise, we are all floating in the same sea of sameness. Over time, people will rely on you for that thing, and they will count on you for that thing. But for that thing to become a sustainable interest, one that stands the test of time, it needs to be 1, something you're truly passionate about. You can't fake this. 2, be in an uncontested or underoccupied niche that other people will matter. It will matter to other people. 3, be a concept that connects to the well-being of others. So when we first started experiencing short sales, people who embraced short sales and learned to be experts in them early got the vast majority of the business. Also those who jumped in early with the REO market. People who got that were the first in. They made it a success because they were the experts in it. Here's another slide here. So how do you figure out what your sustainable interest is? It's something that you have a passion for and others can have an emotional connection to. Here's a good quote to get you started by philosopher Carl Jung. Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams? Who looks inside awakens. So what do you have a passion about? What do you enjoy? What do you find that you have a desire to really focus on? You have to try to figure this out. That's what helps you find your space. Let's start this section off with another quote. Your potential is one thing, and what you do with it is another. Having a sustainable interest is not enough if you can't present it in a channel that captures the attention of an audience big enough to make a difference. In fact, I have spoken to many brokers who have been frustrated because they are trying to position themselves among severe competition, where they will never be discovered or even heard. It bears repeating. Most real estate agents tend to follow the same rules and end up in the same competitive space. If you end up there, you are just one of the crowd. What can you do that is uniquely you? Failing to find a meaningful, uncontested space is the primary reason people fail in their efforts to be known. You need to develop your niche. Here's a tip for every changing real estate marketplace. Being first is more important than being the best. Again, that example of REOs. How many people can recall those who got the REO markets early? They had all the business. What are they doing now? You don't hear about them. And one more quick tip in developing your niche. If you have an idea of what you want to be known for but don't know if it's uncontested or undercontested space, Google it. If you want to be known as the broker who understands golf course communities, Google it. Real estate brokers in Bend, Oregon, golf course communities. Find out how many are already working in that space. If you want to be known as a specific real estate market, it could be a geographical area, Google it. See if anyone else is working there. The next step is finding 5 more ways to find a workable space. Number 1, utilize your own unique background. Can you leverage your training, unique career path, or life experiences to bring a perspective that differs from others in your region? For example, Christine Browning again, the realtor with a banking background. Number 2, get hyper-local. You may get better results focusing on a small and well-defined area if it's uncontested, undercontested, or in some cases, poorly contested. Right now, Lisa Cole is really well known in Broken Top. That is absolutely not undercontested. You need to find your own Broken Top. Fill a void. No matter how many brokers are in the area, there are always some portions of the population that are underserved. For instance, it could be distressed properties, short sales, REOs, first-time homebuyers, vacation homes, fixer-uppers, newlyweds, divorcees, 55-plus communities, new construction, golf properties, waterfront properties. If you are paying attention, new opportunities occur in real estate all the time. For example, when Northwest Crossing was just getting started, the Garner Group developed that niche, and they did extremely well in representing sellers and also buyers in that community. Next idea, connect with industry influencers. These influencers can be in any industry. For example, we have a couple of brokers who did very well establishing a connection with human resources in medical fields. Do you have a connection with human resources in a specific business or industry? That's a great way of making some connections out there. Next, identify your favorite client. You were asked to do this in your intro class to find who it was that you like to work with and who you don't like to work with. Let that be your guide to help to identify a niche for you. Again, example, working with first-time home buyers, veterans, buyers, sellers. We can all think about who's really done well with farms. Pam Mayo jumped into that early on and really made a great niche for herself in a type of niche that you would often think would be more suited towards men. Pam Mayo was a woman who made a name for herself and did extremely well. Need more ideas? Just Google real estate niches. There'll be no shortage of articles and ideas to help you get those creative juices flowing. Here's just some ideas. Next, finding your fuel. As you climb your way to the top, the rungs of the ladder are content. You have to create content to be known, but not just any type of content, engaging content. Engaging content typically has the following attributes. 1, it's a good story. 2, it provides something of value. 3, it is something of relevance. 4, it draws you in, starting with the headline. 5, it is emotionally relevant. Once you have your content, deliver it in such a way that it matches your personality and is not overly competitive. For example, blogging, podcast interviews, videos, Snapchat, bomb emails, ebooks, webinars. Here are a few more things to consider when you're writing content. Add your own story. The ultimate goal of your content should be to build an emotional connection between yourself and your audience. Truly human content leads to awareness, awareness leads to trust, and trust leads to loyalty. Some characteristics of human content include vulnerability, making it personal, being bold, showing confidence, and being unguarded. Perhaps the most important of these characteristics is being able to be vulnerable. One example in my own life is the owner of Chorus Photography in Pennsylvania. I met Brian and his wife while on vacation in Hawaii. He owns a photography company. And as a result of his willingness to be vulnerable, he has a huge following on Facebook. Not just followers, but people who really regularly respond and engage with him. Not sure if this is by accident or on purpose, as his wife works in management for Adobe. But people really like Brian. He shared personal, heartfelt stories about himself, his own life, and people like that. Here's another great quote. I would have enjoyed keeping my private pain out of my work, but I was changed by my audience who said, your private pain, which you have unwittingly shown us in your songs, is also ours. That was by Pete Townsend. Think of Eric Clapton's Tears in Heaven. People relate to that. People who've lost a child. A personal connection makes people like you. Also, we need to provide answers and insights. Own your space. Know everything about it. Even if it is a neighborhood, know everything about that neighborhood. Know the schools, the parks, the character, the distance to work, housing data, restaurants nearby, coffee locations, homeowners associations happenings, information about the CC&Rs, anything that you can possibly think of. Think of every question people might ask about your niche and answer them in a blog, podcast, or video series. For a neighborhood postcard or direct mail, it might be another way to reach your target audience. Think about people who've done that in your own neighborhood. I regularly get postcards from people in Broken Top who are working the Broken Top market just because I've owned property there. I'm sure they're going to die out since I no longer own property there, but it happens. Next, make sure you get it right. Right stands for relevant, interesting, timely, and entertaining. Try to make sure your content includes at least 3 of these attributes. Relevant, make sure it's both relevant to you and your audience. You know it's relevant when you hear comments back like, how did you know that was on my mind? Make it interesting. Remember, you're trying to create an emotional bond between you and your audience that results in trusting you to handle the real estate transaction. The agent they like, trust, and respect the most gets their business. For example, if your neighborhood is like Broken Top, like it is for Lisa Cole, there's lots of topics relating to the sale of the golf course and club, to the homeowners association. If you were working Broken Top during their time, everyone wanted to know what was going on and what everyone else was thinking. And the only way of really getting to know that would be to talk to others, neighbors. Or if you were an expert, you may have been able to interview these people. If it were my neighborhood, I might have started a Facebook page and included interviews with the key players and both sides of the issue. Maybe provided links to key documents or post questions from homeowners for others to answer. Relevant? Absolutely. Interesting? Yes, it was on every single person's mind. And timely. There's an old saying that first is better than best. Back to the Broken Top example. People would have wanted to open that Facebook page every morning on their computer to see the latest quote you received from the leaders, a short video interview from relevant players, or just to see the neighborhood roundup of opinions. Entertaining. This is perhaps the most important aspect of the right formula. If what you provided is not entertaining in some way, which means it needs to be relevant, timely, and have some sort of emotional connection, or you will be losing your audience. What catches your attention? What makes that emotional connection with you? Cat videos? Believe it or not, BPRE has put out over 100 videos to the public, and the most watched have to do with animals. There's an entire area of study on this crossroads of advertising and emotion called neuromarketing. Unfortunately, that's too big a topic to cover here today, but perhaps a future class. But the key element is this: before you put out any content, think about how you can make it more relevant, interesting, timely, and entertaining. And I think this concept will work well for you and your audience. In summary, creating an actionable audience. The whole purpose of finding your place, finding your space, and finding your fuel is to create an actionable audience, one that will create an emotional connection with you, engage with you, and eventually trust you to be their realtor. This happens in a 4-part journey. Number 1, awareness. They discover your content and know you exist. Perhaps 95% of them will ignore you or move on, but depending on how big your space is, 5% may be enough to keep you busy for a long time. Number 2, engagement. That's when a new connection wants more. They may comment on your blog, explore your website, click on a link that takes them to a landing page, or fill out a form for a free housing analysis. 3, stable connections. This is when new fans essentially opt in to the process. They may subscribe to your newsletter, follow you on Facebook or LinkedIn, or get on a portal for more information. People will only follow you if you are adding value to their lives. And 4, loyalty. This is the ultimate destination when fans not only follow you, but also encourage others to do so. So, bonus here. How to fill your pipeline. Here's a quick tutorial on 4 ways to create an actionable audience and fill your pipeline. Number 1, SEO. Get a website or blog and optimize it for search engines. We can help with that. 2, social media. Create a page for your niche and put relevant content on it. Use techniques such as number 3, which I'm going to mention in a second, is to drive people there. Number 3, paid advertising. Place targeted ads on Facebook to drive people to your Facebook page or website. You can also drive them to a landing page, which enables you to capture content information in exchange for content that is valuable to them. So you capture their contact information in exchange for content. And 4, blogging. Be an active blogger and guest blog on other important sites, if at all possible.